Okay, Joe, we ready?
Red lorry, yellow lorry. Red lorry, yellow lorry. Hi, my name is Joe. Welcome to another episode of BLockBlaze, and welcome to my Lego room. Lego wasn't part of my childhood, but I've always wanted Lego, but unfortunately my parents couldn't afford it at the time. So in 2014, when the Lego movie came out, we took the family to go see the movie, and I absolutely fell in love with Lego again. So after the movie, we went down to the toy shop. I bought my kids each a CMF Lego minifigure, and after they've built it, it kept on lying around in the house. So this little guy became mine, and he started my obsession with Lego. I then started buying all the minifigures in that series. I went back in time and bought all the previous minifigures, and once I was up to date, I wanted the next thing. And the next thing was either to start building sets or start building MOCs. And at that time, MOC building really interested me, but I didn't know where to start or how to go about doing it. I started asking around. I was working with Hilton Strauss, who was already an accomplished MOC builder, and he told me about the LUG that he belonged to. Some time went by, and then I inquired with Hilton again about joining his LUG. And he told me that the LUG is unfortunately no longer, and I had nowhere to go. Fast forward about 9 months later, I was still struggling to do MOC building, and then I got in contact with Tony Graham, Ian van der Walt and Clark Batterson, and we started zaLUG on that day. It was quite a process, and I remember the first couple of meetings, all the nonsense we talked about that had nothing pertaining to Lego whatsoever. We were talking about getting bylaws together. We were talking about where we're going to have our meetings, our membership, should we have fees, and we initially started off with 2 memberships, a free membership and a paid for membership. We only had 8 members who have signed up, and it was kind of heartbreaking to me because we needed 20 members to become a registered LUG under the Lego rules. The membership started growing very quickly, and in less than a week we signed up another 15 members to take us to a total of 28 members. So from there we started really pushing hard to do events, because that's another expectation from the Lego group, is that we have to exhibit at events, have 20 members and a couple of other expectations. And within 6 months of starting the LUG, we were given our R-LUG status by the Lego group in Denmark. I still remember getting that email from Jan Beyer. It was such an amazing day, and to keep it quiet until the next meeting where we would announce it to all the members, it was such a difficult thing. And I remember Paul Doran sending me a WhatsApp saying it's difficult to keep secrets on the internet these days. And after inquiring, it was through Brickset. They pull all the information from the Lego Group's ambassador network, and because we were added as an R-LUG by then, Paul deducted that we got status. So it was quite fun, and I asked him nicely not to share it, and knowing Paul, he's such a gentleman, he never did. And on the day that we shared the information, we had cake and champagne, and people were so happy, and from there the LUG just grew. We were at one point, when we still had paid for and free membership, we were over 110 members. But we found out that the people who don't pay to be part of the LUG don't invest, they don't have skin in the game. So we got rid of the free membership and went ahead with the paid for membership, and currently we are just under 80 members, if I remember correctly, and the LUG is so strong. We've got fantastic members, people who contribute regularly, that bring out amazing builds to all events. It is just such a fantastic group of people. I'm really proud and really happy to be part of zaLUG. I feel like I'm a creative person, but I can't sing, I can't draw, I can't paint, I can't dance, but I can build with Lego. So the MOC building part really appealed to me. And I started building on a small scale. I started building with a small little amount of bricks that I had from sets that I parted out. And I still remember my very first MOC was a shack from Soweto. And at that point, I thought, you build a MOC once, you break it down, and you build a MOC for every single event that you go to. And then I realized that's impossible. You can't do that. You can't be expected to do that. So unfortunately, my first MOC doesn't exist. At one point, somebody shared a photo of R-LUG in Toronto, Canada, we did a collaboration where they each would build a small little habitat for a CMF minifigure, and I absolutely loved that idea. Didn't know how parts intensive it would be at the time, but I started building for Batman Series 1. And I started building with one, and then a second minifigure, and then a third minifigure, and a fourth minifigure. It took me a long time to finish that MOC of mine. And the next on my list was then my Jurassic Gate. My Jurassic Park build was inspired by a single brick. I saw this slope piece lying on my desk, and I thought it looked fairly similar to the entrance gate to Jurassic Park. And that's where that one came from, and that's where that idea grew. There was a part of the fence that's missing, so there's a little dinosaur that's escaping. There's a problem inside the park, and the people are trying to escape from the dinosaurs who are now loose. This was the first time I tried to do my own brick build tree, and there was a lot of firsts for me in this. It was the first big MOC that I built. It was the first time I incorporated lights into a build. It was the first time I did the water, the tree. The Jurassic Park build gave me confidence that I could do bigger MOCs. At the time of starting my train station, I knew I wanted to tell stories, because a lot of the inspirational people in my life said, when you do something, try to tell a story. People find stories interesting. So on my train station, you'll find a couple of stories. One of my favorite is the little mouse that's hidden in the train tracks, who's running away from the train as it enters the train station. There is a little kid that went to buy an ice cream, who ran back to his parents, and he fell over the janitor's wet floor. There's a little girl that thought she would be funny and ran into the wall, trying to get through to platform 9 3/4 over to Hogwarts, and that failed, unfortunately for her. There is Emmett is buying a ticket to come onto the train, and at the top section there is quite a few things happening. The exit to the train station was inspired by the Metropolitan exits in Paris, France, which is absolutely ornate and beautiful in their design. There's a little shop where you can buy flowers and snacks on the way home. There is a French guy picking up after his dog. There's also a family that's bringing their kids and their dog to the park. This couple standing by the fountain, they recently started dating. They're at the park, they're here for a picnic, they're vegan, so they only brought vegetables to eat. The other family, who's just entered the entrance of the park, they came with their dog. The rabbit came out of hiding in daylight, and as he came out to steal the carrot from the couple, the dog saw the rabbit, and now there's a standoff between the two of them. At the bottom of the train station is the Ninja Turtles, which I loved growing up. So they are busy practicing. April and Neil brought them some pizza, which they are only allowed to have after they finish practicing. One of the turtles is climbing up this ladder, who wants to open the latch, but the latch is right under the fountain, so he's in for a big surprise. One of the most difficult things to do when you do a building is it needs to look organic. You don't want it to have too straight edges, too sharp edges, especially medieval stuff that's old, where people didn't have a lot of technology to build with. You need to make it look time appropriate or era appropriate. And if you look at the scene, is one of the most difficult things was to get the wall to look a little bit dilapidated, derelict, some grass growing on it, some leaves growing on it, and to make the scenery fall in line with what's going on. One of the things that I am proud of in this build is my bridge. I looked at a lot of pictures of medieval bridges that still stands today, and I saw a lot of them had a curvature to it. And I wanted to do a curve. And I was sitting late one night and I was playing around, and I couldn't get it to curve. And when I got it to curve, it would fall apart. So I came up with a solution where the offset brick would push against a stud of a plate underneath it, and that would give it a constant curvature that would go over my lake. The little house that you see on the build is crooked and is falling over. The reason for that is this was an owner-builder house. He didn't have the know-how, he didn't have the technology, and he didn't have the equipment to build a proper house for the time. So over the years, it started falling over to the right. How he's tried to cover it with wood patches, how he's tried different materials just to fix it. At some point, this house is going to fall over and he's going to need to build a new house. Also, what I try to do in my builds, and I think a lot of people do that, it's not only me, is that we try to hide small little details, because it's always fun when people, especially kids, come around and they see what you've hidden in your builds and they smile, and that smile makes the hours that you put into your builds absolutely worthwhile. Thank you so much for joining me in my Lego room. Thank all of you for watching another episode of BLockBlaze. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe and share this video with all your friends.